So I looked at this question beforehand. I had to go do a little bit of digging to get a good answer. So there's two things they're talking about here. There's the building occupancy requirements and basically an architectural standard, IFC tables. And then you have the DHA. So there's a follow-on text where they're asking like why is it so why isn't there a clear answer to is it an H2 occupancy or not? It's because usually when you go get a DHA done, that third-party DHA firm is going to know the DHA, the NFPA stuff up, backwards and forwards. They're not necessarily going to be as familiar with the architectural standards for what's a hazardous building. So the answer that I was able to find, and I'm getting a little outside of my experience here, but basically the presence of combustible dust in the facility is not alone enough to trigger an H2 classification. It depends how that combustible dust is mitigated. So, if you have combustible dust in your facility and you have added explosion vents, isolation, CO2, suppression, all the stuff that the NFP guidelines tell you to do, you should be able to avoid the H2 classification because basically it says that you have combustible dust, but you've mitigated the risk. So typically it wouldn't be the DHA, auditor that defines that. It would be whoever is going to approve your occupancy designation. That may be like the architectural regulator. So that's getting a little bit outside of what we typically do. We focus on equipment and dust collection systems, how to mitigate the combustible dust risk. When you start getting a building code stuff, there's other regulatory bodies out there, but my takeaway from what I could find online was basically if you're controlling and mitigating the combustible dust risk to the extent that you can say that it's safe, then you should be able to avoid the H2 occupancy classification. So I hope that answers the question. If not, whoever submitted that, if they want to send an email or set up a follow-up, we can explore that further and get a good answer for them.